Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In today's episode of Days of Our Lives, Chanel leaves the house in just a t-shirt as Sean, without a shirt, is on the phone at home, updating Paulina. Chanel then complains about how much she has lost her ability to drink, but Sean responds that he has heard she had a lot. She goes over her memories, which are mostly blank around small bar, although she does remember kissing him. Did we have sex last night, Sean? He only takes a sip of his coffee. At last, he declines. He simply brought her home, bought her a t-shirt and some water, and was done. She's still married to that guy, Johnny, and she's embarrassed. Sean stands up for his cousin, claiming that it's obvious that Johnny is unhappy and regrets what he done. Instead of obsessing over a single error, she might want to try concentrating on the positive aspects of her marriage. Sean stands shirtless in front of Chanel at his house while she clutches her head and closes her eyes. Sean understands that it's not a single error, she explains. He sympathizes with Johnny because he and Belle have both been in his position. Chanel notes that she and Johnny have no hope if he and Belle are unable to maintain their marriage. Chanel must, however, take action before it's too late if she hopes to save her marriage. Brady is still attempting to contact Ava at the Black residence, but to no avail. Marlena offers him some coffee and remarks that Belle, who is still in bed from the bachelorette party, definitely needs it. Brady then tells Marlena about Rachel's journey through Armid and her efforts to bring him and Kristen back together. Marlena refers him to a child therapist after they both agree that Rachel needs therapy. When Kristen enters, Johnny, who is seated on the Demera couch, leaps up, excited that Rachel has returned home. Kristen feels the same way, but she wishes her daughter had shown a little more remorse for her actions. Kristen tells him about Armid when he inquires about Rachel's whereabouts. Rachel discovered her scrapbook, even though no one had been there in decades. After that, Kristen briefly recounts the history of the Blake house to Johnny, revealing that her mother had survived for 30 years. After that, he receives an overview of the woman in white. Prior to her blowing herself up, Kristen urges that Rachel go to treatment when Brady shows up, and they also need to work out their daughter's issues now that CPS is involved. Brady claims he will have plans with Ava if he can ever get in touch with her after Kristen makes a joke about dating her, which Johnny is unaware of. That must indicate that Ava is either dead or ghosting him, Kristen says him. Or perhaps she's letting him go because he's too needy. Brady plays the pointless voicemail she left at Johnny's request, stating that it seems important but providing no further details. Brady claims that it sounded urgent and that he will call the police if he doesn't hear back from her right away. Rachel is paying attention to everything. Kristen finally softens and admits that Ava is a tough cookie and that she is certain nothing happened to her when Johnny leaves to solve a missing persons case of his own. She hopes Ava contacts Brady as soon as possible because she knows he loves her. While Ava is gagged and restrained in a chair, Rachel calls Armid to inquire about her condition. The woman in white responds, "Oh, she's doing just fine, dear." She inquires about Rachel's planned success, which was not good, and advises the bright child to exercise patience. Rachel cautions, "Make sure you keep an eye on her, she's very sneaky." After they hang up, the woman gives Ava some food and tells her to be polite if her gag is taken off. Ava only inquires as to Rachel's purpose for being there. Ava demands to know why the woman cares when she says that she needed assistance bringing her parents together. "Who are you in the hell?" "Just someone who wishes to be with their family." Ava informs her that she has family as well and that Tripp and Wendy discovered her son much later in life. The woman claims that although she understands what it's like to lose her children, she can no longer allow Ava to harm Rachel. She will now simply disappear. In the Blake house, Day's woman in white gives Ava a cruel smile while she is strapped to a chair. At that point, Ava begins to threaten, claiming that she can kill the woman with a single phone call. The woman in white responds by telling him that she used to quiver before realizing she had nothing to fear from a man who had abused her for years. Okay, but Brady will run since Ava left him a message. Finally, Ava declines the woman's attempt to feed her breakfast, claiming it might be contaminated. The woman acknowledges that it might be, but if she refuses to eat, she replaces her gag. Then Rachel calls to inform her that something is wrong. After putting Ava away, the woman talks with Rachel about the contents of the message. With a severe hangover, Belle returns to her room, lays over, and is appalled to see EJ. Before hitting him with a pillow, she tries to wake him up. What the devil? He is also experiencing a searing hangover, and neither of them can recall much of how it occurred. After telling everyone that he was her greatest regret, Belle is shocked that it happened again. He teases her that it couldn't have been because she didn't like it, but he's a little nonplussed. He questions why she allowed him to take her home after she makes fun of his brittle ego. They both accuse each other of revenge-seeking, initiating the entire situation, and secretly wanting this to occur. After exchanging intense looks, they begin making out once more. They then make fun of one another for being responsible for that round. Belle continues to maintain that it was a grave error, particularly if Sammy finds out and loses it once more. As a frightened Marlena enters with coffee, EJ quietly murmurs, "Okay, they'll call the whole thing off," and gets up. "How did you accomplish this?" While Marlena delivers her daughter the riot act about hooking up with such a bad man, EJ gets dressed in silence. "You have me so disappointed." And Marlena won't have it in her house if Belle continues to visit him. As Belle buries her face in her arms, she immediately leaves again. Belle says she was embarrassed and regrets not shutting the door once EJ finishes getting dressed. "I will definitely not be there next time," he says. Or wherever Belle leaves him. The text says, "Get the Days of Our Lives email from Soaps. Receive daily summaries, spoilers, exclusive interviews, and breaking news alerts delivered directly to your email. Sign up at https://cloud.email.soaps.com." As the show comes to a close, Chanel returns home to Paulina and Abe, where Johnny is already waiting there, concerned about her from the previous evening. Paulina was so worried that she allowed him in. Chanel tells him she's all right despite being hungover. Fantastic! Where had she gone, then? "I stayed with Sean Brady for the night." She admits right away that she kissed him even though she didn't sleep with him. "I understand. It was an inebriated error, and Johnny appreciates Sean's gentlemanly behavior." She then tells Johnny that she was pushed to forgive her husband by Sean. And he could have been correct to keep their marriage intact. Since she is visiting Tripp and Wendy, Kristen believes that encouraging Rachel to return home was a sweet gesture. Rachel grins as she surveys Ava's house out in the hallway. The mission has been completed. After wheeling Ava back into the room, the woman calmly explains that she and Rachel resolved her message issue. Nobody is trying to find her.